right, we're live. We're live.
I know, we're alive.
We're alive and kicking too for old broads. I like that word, old broads. It's actually two words, isn't it? Old broads.
Yes.
Yes.
I kind of fit the broads part of it, you know.
My butt is that broad.
A broad. I just don't like the old part. No.
Well, I don't mind it. Just don't call me crone or something else.
Yeah, I have an issue with that.
With the B word or the C word? I don't like the C word.
Actually, I love it. I embrace it. And whenever I pull the crone card from my deck, I always say it has nothing to do with age. It has everything to do with wisdom. So I tell people, if you get the crone card, boy, if you got discernment and wisdom. So I try to turn those things around that are negative, that they mean good things. So
Cool.
what I do.
Yeah, Elizabeth, do that. What she said, do that. Do it, Elizabeth, do it.
Do what?
You weren't even listening.
But yeah, I was. Listen, I want to sing. Of course I am. I have psychic hearing. What do you mean?
Oh my God.
I heard that.
All right, I got to do our introduction. Wait a minute. Y'all are messing me up.
And
Okay.
we want to welcome everybody to our spiritual neighborhood lunch brunch.
Okay, so I'm going to do it. Welcome to the Lunch Bunch at the Spiritual Neighborhood. The Spiritual Neighborhood is a grassroots community project of the Council of Families for Children, dedicated to the quality of life for the body, I start to say booty, for the body, mind, or spirit, for the integration of a healthy, happy human. Today, we have with us Sandra Larson, and she talks to the animals like Dr. Doolittle.
Yay!
So, anybody want to say anything else about Sandra? She's a wonderful person. She's gorgeous.
I think she's amazing. I met Sandra several years ago taking her animal communication classes. We've had some amazing experiences with animals, and especially the tigers at the Dallas Zoo. That's a memory I have with you, Sandra, that I'll never
Yes.
It's a story that we would love to share, and it's in my book. I don't know if I told you I'm writing a book, but
Wonderful.
and it'll be in there. But you know, I think it'd be cool to find out and let everybody know how you got into animal communication. I know, if I remember correctly, you and your daddy were very, very close. Your daddy taught you a lot.
Absolutely.
Oh, cool.
Ever since I can remember, my dad would so often, when he'd see a cat, a dog, even animals in nature like squirrels, chipmunks, birds, he would just stop what he was doing and he would just embrace that animal, whether it was just in the spirit of an embrace or literally an embrace. And he had such a tender heart toward animals. And so, excuse me, you know, the freight train starts running.
I have it today too, don't worry.
And so I want to say this to those of you that are out there, just a quick note that some of you have maybe are not working right now. Some of you are working from home. Some of you are saying, why the heck have I been doing this job when something else is calling to me? When I turned 50, I went back and got my master's in counseling. And as I was taking the training, I was guided in the direction of taking classes for into our life coaching, wonderful classes that I was able to use as some of my credits in my master's program. And when I was taking those coaches training, I met a lady and she said, Sandra, since you love animals so much, why don't you take classes in animal communication? I said, what a great idea. What's that? I mean, I'd never heard that expression at age 50. Sure enough, I took the class and I said, oh, my dad has been doing this our whole life. You know, at breakfast table, he'd ask the birds questions, then he'd answer the questions, and he would just have this whole conversation. Deer would walk up to my dad. You know, ducks, he would, the funniest story ever from my childhood was when we went to this place I'm originally from Wisconsin, even though I have a T on my head, I'm a transplant now, to Texas. anyway, we went to this dump, and it was called Lutsen Dump. It was a ski resort up north, and where my dad brought a huge bag of marshmallows, and he fed the bears.
Oh my.
And he kept throwing the marshmallows a closer distance to him, and I figured, well, I'm about 8 or 9, something like that. I must be safe if I'm with Dad. All of a sudden, one of the bears started charging me, and I ran so fast that I missed the car door. I had to run all the way around. My sisters were laughing, and I was scared to death. I jumped in the car. It turned out that another bigger bear was coming into the dump, and the bear wasn't chasing me at all. But he's just been fascinated with animals, and said, Sandra, you could learn a lot about unconditional love from animals. So it came when I took the training. It just was completely natural, and I caught on to it so fast because my dad had been a great role model. He was a very manly man, but he always said a real man can show his emotions and cry. And he adopted all of our friends unofficially, and all the animals that came around were either Dolly or Buddy. So anyway, it was just a wonderful beginning, and I hope I can honor him with the work that I do with animals. I hope I can, where he's up in heaven now, wherever that heaven is, and I just hope that he sees the work that I'm doing, and I hope he's pleased with me.
So there's no doubt about that. Extremely proud. Extremely proud.
So, do you ever find it difficult to connect with certain animals? I mean, do you ever find animals that just refuse to communicate?
Only a few times has that happened, and one time it was a particular cat, and
Go figure.
This woman, this woman, this cat, and I'm not into witchcraft or anything like that, but this woman believed that her cat was her familiar, and so when I tried to tune in to this particular cat, she said to me, I'm not here to talk to you. I want her to talk to me. So I'm not talking to her. I'm not talking to you. I want her to talk to me. So I told her that, and I think it encouraged her to really open up and speak to her own cat. But really, most animals are so happy, willing. I had a funny experience one time, though, with a dog. And I was in Nevada at the time, and I've gone and done animal communication all kinds of places, but we were in a garage, and every 15 minutes they were bringing another dog in. And this one dog in particular, here we are sitting there, and he's like, scared. And I'm trying to get him to talk, and he won't talk. And finally I said, is your dog afraid of going to the vet or the groomers? Oh, terrified, And I said, sweetheart, I'm not here. I'm just here to talk to you. And I'm not the vet, and I'm not the groomer, and everything's going to be all right. And all of a sudden that dog started talking, and then made me 15 minutes late for all the rest of the sessions because he wouldn't quit talking, So animals have such a huge emotional realm and intuitive. Oh my gosh, they're so intuitive. They literally can read your mind. A funny story happened the other day. I was talking with this dog, and he hadn't gotten groomed in a while, and his hair was growing out. And one of the ladies I was talking to confessed. I said, have you been calling him a little sheep or a little lamb? And she said, oh my God, I haven't said it out loud, but I keep thinking he looks like a little lamb. And I said, you better be careful what you think, because your dog is reading your mind. So anyway, I digress, but thousands and thousands of animals I've spoken to, and I have that many stories, so I could talk all day long about it. It's such a joy.
What's their biggest complaint about us?
Yeah. Boy, the truth of it is, we would be so amazed at how much they're here to be in service to us.
Mm-hmm.
Now, dogs are in service to people in a different way than cats are in service to us.
They're to keep us humble.
In general. What's that?
I said the cats are here to keep us humble.
Yeah. Well, the cats are energy workers. And I had a cat years ago, one of my dear friends, her cat, I came to the house and she said, I'm here to clear the energy. Everybody that comes in this house and this whole house, she's just a huge energy clearer. And she said, and I had to clear your energy too. So in other words, in case I thought I was something special, she said, no, I had to clear your energy too, And another experience I had with the cat, I went to a household with one dog and about 7 cats. And one of the cats jumped up on my lap. She was an older cat. And she was like, like her motor was running. And I've learned just recently that a purring cat can actually heal bones.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about regular.
Wow.
That's, they can heal you. And so this cat was sitting on my lap, and the lady said, okay, that's enough, whatever the cat's name was, I don't remember now, and said, get down. And she went, hissed at the woman, and went, evidently, and I could feel her downloading me with energy.
Wow.
So, birds. I had a bird that a woman, I've had experiences with all tigers and snow leopards and just snakes like you wouldn't believe. Amazing experience. But this one bird would sit at the top of his perch, way up high, actually might have been on a shelf. And the woman taught violin to children. And this bird, she invited me to have a conversation. It was just a little cockatiel. And he said, I beam light to each one of the children that come for that violin lesson. That's my job. I send light to each one of them that come for the lesson.
I love that.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
Okay, so I have a question for you. I love all animals. I do.
Yes.
Cats, though, I'm a little allergic to.
Sure.
I've gotten better with it over the years by doing self-healing, but they love to get on me, sit on my shoulder, and lick my cheek. Why?
It's because you have the best manners in the whole room.
Oh.
A cat will always come to the person who isn't going, kitty, 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 come on, kitty. They're energy readers, and cats always come to the calmest person, the most relaxed person, and that's usually the person who doesn't want their attention because they, in their mind, at least in my experience, you have good manners. And
See, Elizabeth.
Go ahead.
I said, see, Elizabeth, I have good manners.
Yeah. Cats.
Animals.
I'm not going to say what I'm thinking. I'm not going to say it.
Because I know what you're thinking. Don't go there.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense, Sandra. It really does.
It does.
My grandson has 2 cats, and he don't pay no attention to them, but they're all over him and just love him to death.
Yeah, they really, and here's something, just a little bit of wisdom for you. Cats have an energy field around them. And you think that when one cat walks by another cat, the cat that is walked by, that's sitting there, is the one that attacks the cat that's walking by. And people go, what is wrong with that cat? Well, the deal is the cat walking by walked through their energy field without permission. And that's a big no-no.
That makes sense.
Yep, and so that cat is like, cats have protocol. That's what I call it, protocol. Like, if you're going to be with us, this is how you have to behave, and until you behave, you're going to get whacked. So it's kind of amazing how cats work and think, and they're very wonderful, wonderful energy workers. So don't ever underestimate cats. Even big cats. I had an opportunity to give a massage to the back end of a lion.
Oh my
And
gosh.
of course, I wasn't in the cage with the lion, but I got to be on the other side, right where the the caregivers work, and I got to give this lion, a lion through he just sat there and let me massage him, and we had a wonderful, lovely, I don't remember what we talked about, but I guess he liked me because he stood up, and I stood up, and then he stood up, because I had about 50 big cats to talk to that day, and he sprayed me.
Oh!
I am now a marked woman.
Oh my God. You really are, literally.
I am literally a marked woman. A big cat, a lion,
What did you do?
I just laughed.
She took a bath, Elizabeth. She took a bath.
What's that?
I said she took a bath.
I did.
What I'm thinking is, did he spray you because now you're part of his tribe?
Yeah.
His tribe?
Yeah.
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 She had to smell right.
Evidently said, well, here's the thing. And then I went down the road to a 500-pound calico cat.
Oh, wow.
Smelled the lion on me and tried to spray me too, but I jumped back real quick. So it was quite the experience that day, just you can ask me anything. I'm not shy about telling about my crazy experiences with animals,
Well, we may go with you to the zoo, but I have a feeling we'll be back like 20 feet from you.
I'm gonna get a camera with a telephoto lens. I'm just gonna look through that lens.
Oh, it's so much fun, and you know what? They just don't have the egos that we have generally, And go ahead, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, that reminds me of the conversation you had with one of the tigers at the Dallas Zoo, where they were upset about being on exhibit. Can you explain that?
Well, do you remember the Queen? We have pictures, don't we, where the tigers sat right beside me and talked to me. I was able again to sit where the zookeepers sit, within a few feet of the tigers, and they would just sit with me. Actually, do you remember there was a brand new young tiger. This was, I think, the issue of what was going on. A new young tiger was brought in, possibly for breeding, and she, in the beginning, remember how very, very shy she was, Gail? Maybe you weren't with us, but she was very shy. And then all of a sudden, it was so cute because as we talked with her more, she became less and less shy. And then she actually did some pacing, and she kept looking out the window at the older female tiger, and she could see her. And finally, by the end of the time, and she told me that female tiger did not like her at all and wasn't at all happy with her being here. And by the end of the time, she was a young tiger, she was laying on her back, showing her belly, going like this. She was so relaxed after our conversation. So then I went down to talk with the Queen. And she got up on her throne, which was an elevated wood space, and laid there and talked to me and told me how much she didn't like the new female tiger because she did not want to be replaced by some young little hussy. So anyway, this big thing is going on, and it's like, it was just, I use the word hussy, but she just thought she did not want to be replaced. And, for breeding purposes, it was just really, but she really knew she was the queen. She was the queen tiger, let me tell you. And then, of course, the very last tiger we came to, Gail, is the one that came, one of the tigers that came. I didn't even get into the first tiger that we talked to. He told me that he was sorry, he was crabby at me. He said, but he wasn't feeling well. And he literally told me his medical condition. And a week later, they did some exploratory surgery, and he had exactly the condition that he told me he had. It was really quite amazing. And unfortunately, that tiger died on the exam table that day. It was very sad.
Oh my goodness.
But the last tiger that we talked to said, "Why did you make me last?" because I was the one that called you here.
Mm.
And it
Wow.
was, yeah, he was a little unhappy with me. Remember, Gail?
Yeah.
He's a little unhappy with me because, and of course, I'm just leaving where the zookeepers take me. But it was really, oh, and then there was another tiger who told me he was going to heaven soon. And he was the old boy in the place, you know. So animals tell me some pretty amazing, amazing things. Sometimes, often, because I'm a medical intuitive, if animals are hurting, they'll show me on my body where they're hurting. And so I'm pretty excited now to be taking these Reiki classes because now when animals show me where they're hurting, I can channel healing with their permission, of course. The angels, I asked the angels if I could be a healer, and they said no. I said, what? And they said, not without permission. So I have to have permission to channel healing because everyone's on their own journey. Sometimes whatever is going on, and maybe you ladies know it differently, but whatever's going on in their life, sometimes illness, sickness, challenges are part of the soul's evolution. And we need the highest, I need the highest permission to do healing work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my lesson, that I want to only do good. Doctors say do no harm, I say do only good.
I like that better. Can I get your opinion about something, an experience that I've had? I thought this was actually a dream that I had, but recently my father confirmed that it actually happened. When I was about 4, we were out in the woods camping, and I remember being eyeball to eyeball with a wolf and was petting him. And my dad came up and screamed because he was a little freaked out. And the wolf looked at him and looked at me. And why my dad didn't shoot is amazing because my dad shoots everything because he's a hunter, you know. But the wolf just looked at me and, you know, turned around and walked off. And my dad ran over and grabbed me up and carried me back to the camp, you know, freaked out. But I've always felt a connection to wolves. And we went to a wolf sanctuary several years ago, and I got to play with some of the wolves. And there was a set of twins there, a boy and a girl. And I got to play with them for about an hour. And when it came time to leave, the female wolf kept grabbing my hand, you know, and dragging me back into the play area. And, you know, it didn't hurt me, didn't feel her teeth or anything. But when I got into my car, my leather glove was completely shredded. That's how hard she'd been holding my hand. But it never punctured my skin or hurt me. And
she knew what she was doing.
Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like I should know something about that and know why there seems to be such a connection, but I'm just a dummy. I don't get it. So
no, well, you know, I like to take people on journeys. In addition to being an animal communicator, I'm also an intuitive life coach, and I love to take people on journeys to meet their power animals. And no one can tell you who your power animal is except you get to, well, people can try, but really you have to own who your power animal is. But with all of your wolf experiences, it sounds like a wolf may be your power animal. And when you meditate, and I'm sure you all do a lot of that, you can call on the energy of the wolf. You can also look it up. Ted Andrews is a wonderful, Animal Speak, Animal Wise is a wonderful book. Or you can, she's got it right there. I have both Animal Wise and Animal Speak. The wolf is a very, very powerful, power animal, and you can look up all the meaning of that. Have you looked up the meanings of animals?
I have. And, you know, I've had people tell me that they see wolf energy around me, and I have like a pack of wolves around me, and, you know, different things, you know. So I've had a lot of people, you know, kind of, you know, confirm, but I just have this affinity, you know, and
it's such a beautiful story to have a wolf come up to you, and you have that. What a spiritual essence you must have, because generally wolves in the wild are not all that people feel that safe with people, but I think that tells you something about the affinity that you have with wolves.
Yeah, I thought it was a dream for years because, you know, I was with my father all of my life, and we've just recently reconnected, and he confirmed that story, that it was true.
Beautiful.
So
Yeah, that's beautiful.
blew me away.
I've had some really cool experiences with wolves too. I'll tell you a funny one and a serious one. This lady said, "Could you come talk to my animal?" And I said, "Sure." So I knock on the door, and um, I open the door, and this huge wolf comes running full speed at me. Just full speed at me. And this is to confirm the other story that you just told us about the wolf sanctuary. Anyway, and he jumps on my chest and proceeds to kiss me all over my face. And so, for whatever reason, we decided to go in the kitchen, and I sat on the floor, and the wolf went, ong, 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 and just kept biting, tasting me, mouthing me, I think might be the more proper word. I'm not a wolf person in particular, but the whole time, and the woman said, "He's never done that to any of us. Why is he doing that to you? Are you scared?" I go, "Nah, no, this is just fine." So it was this exuberance, you know. He may have been half wolf and German Shepherd too, which is pretty close breed, but it was just this delightful experience. And of course, the woman wanted the wolf to stay with her, and the wolf ended. She didn't like the answer the wolf gave. He said, "No, I need to go be with your son. I'm his person," and she wasn't happy with that.
Oh, wow.
It was years ago. And then I had another wolf. Now this was a very serious. This is a full-blooded wolf. I was actually written up in his book or in a newspaper about this, but anyway, he was a real skeptic and asked me to come and talk to his wolf. And so I went to see, and he said, "Ask him what his favorite thing is." And so I asked the wolf, "What's your favorite thing?" And he said in his head, "If she doesn't say a great big huge beef bone, I'm kicking her out of here as a big bony steak and all of that." And so the wolf said, "My favorite thing is going out at night in the truck and driving around with you on the land." And the guy's jaw went. He said, "First of all, you don't see a truck here when you drove up. You didn't see a truck. Secondly, I always go out with my wolf almost every night, and we go look at all of the, I don't know if they were donkeys or burros or whatever. He had about 100 of them. And the wolf, he would wear night vision goggles, and the wolf would see perfectly in the dark, and they would go investigate." And he said, "I've never told anyone that we do that. So there was no way you could have known that unless I told you." So then he became a believer. So
Wow.
Yay!
Wow.
Yeah. Too many stories. I have too many stories.
I love animals. I could listen to your stories all day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I remember Sandra coming in talking to my Tessie Poo. I call her Tessie Poo. Her name was
Yeah.
Tess.
Uh-huh.
And when I lost Tess, it's been now 11 years ago. A friend of mine who is a psychic medium said when she passed away, she took all, because I was having some medical issues I wasn't aware of. I found out later, but she had taken a lot of that from me with her. So, you know, our animals, you know, are healing, like you said, just sitting in your lap, but they also take a lot of that with them when they leave. And at first that I felt bad about that, but then I realized, you know, that was part of her job. But what stood out to me the most about her, and something you said about her, was the very first thing out of your mouth when you met Tess was Princess Diane in the doggy world. Do you remember that?
No, I don't, but that's beautiful.
But I finally got to the point where I honored that she was able to help heal me when she died. And that also helped me to, because a lot of us, my sister just lost a dog this past week, and a lot of us we mourn these animals just like they're our children, and we were talking about that last week.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's so hard. So what would be for you the best thing you could tell somebody who's having to either let an animal go or has just let an animal go to help them move that through the process of mourning their animals?
Oh, you know, this, thank you, Gail, for bringing that up. Honestly, this is one of the most wonderful aspects of the work that I do. When I say wonderful, it's such a privilege and an honor to be with people through that grieving process. It's one of the, there are people that are still grieving after years and years as if it happened yesterday. And I'm intimately familiar from personal experience and from the many, many clients I've worked with that are going through the grieving process. And I guess what I would say is that part of the grieving process, this might surprise you, part of the grieving process is the woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yes.
And it's what we want to do is, oh, if only I had done da 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 da, then this would have happened. And if I only knew that this was the last day I was going to be with my dog, I would have taken the whole day to be with her. If I only knew that it's just they woulda, coulda, shoulda, like I wasn't there when they transitioned, and then they carry that. Now, part of the grieving process is to experience those woulda, coulda, shouldas and that perfection or that clarity of hindsight. Part of the grieving process, because if we spin the wheel of all of that, we're not feeling the sheer agony and pain of that loss, okay? What happens though is if we get stuck on that gerbil wheel of the woulda, coulda, shoulda, the hindsight, I really screwed up, I can't forgive myself. If we get stuck there, then that doesn't serve us in the grieving process. Do you see what I mean? Immediately, we want to blame ourselves, we want to blame others, we go through anger. And the other thing I would tell people, a few things I say is the only way to the other side of grief is through it. If you try to bury it and forget it, it will come back cattywampus, upside down in another way. The only way through it is to feel every feeling you feel. And remember, your feelings are like weather. They pass through you if you allow them to. Now, if you become depressed all the time, then that becomes your climate. But if you have feelings of emotion and feelings of sadness, that's just weather passing through. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yes.
And the beautiful thing about our beloved animals and our beloved souls, human or animal, is that the ones that are like, oh, that was it, that was my soul animal. Well, they're probably a part of your soul group. And the beautiful thing, one animal said it so well to me. He said, you know, you humans go to the library and you borrow a book. He said, well, that's what we do. We borrow this body and eventually we have to give it back to Mother Earth, but we still live on. Our soul lives on. And I personally believe that souls are eternal, whether animal or human, and we can talk with them. You certainly don't need me to talk to your animals after they've transitioned. I'm happy to help you do that, but absolutely, they will never leave you. The only thing is your unforgiveness of yourself can block their presence from you. So, yeah.
That's beautiful.
That is.
Thank you. I think, and a lot of people lately have lost animals, and well, I think that this will really help them, because you hit it on the head with the guilt, because I did that same thing. I beat myself up. What if I had taken her home instead of letting her stay in the bed overnight? She'd be here. But then I'd go back and go, well, if I brought her home and she died, then I'd kick myself because I didn't leave her there and let them work on her. So
Exactly.
you have to finally go, wait a minute, it's you know, you did what you thought was right, and it was just her time. That's just it. You chose, it was her time. And that was what was told to me was, and I think I came to you for a reading after she passed, and it was, you know, she was ready to go, you know, but she's still with me. And there were those times where I did feel her energy around me, and I think we can take comfort in knowing that they're there with us, even if we can't physically touch them.
Yes, they can't keep that library book body forever. And I could write volumes of all the things that animals have taught me as they're getting ready to transition. And you were talking earlier about how animals mirror us. I just had a client the other day who had a particular health problem, and the dog had the same problem. And I can't remember what the problem was now, thank God. Sometimes if I held on to everything that I do, I probably couldn't carry on. But always when I do a communication session with animals, I always, or before I take someone on a journey, I always do an invocation to call in the archangels, the angels, and guides, that they would raise my vibration for the session, that I could get clarity. And I'll tell you, my ego's 100% not intuitive, doesn't get the right answers. But when I leave my ego out and invite in that intuitive self, the clarity, the hits that come, the intuitive answers that come, they kind of surprise me. And well, they often do, and I kind of have to, all you ladies know this, that as readers, all of you, and the work that you all do, you know that when your intuitive self, we can be so accurate, not because we want to be the know-it-all or anything like that, but whatever we're given permission to know through our intuitive selves, it's so powerful. It's so powerful. And what a gift that is, to experience that. It's like, yoo-hoo!
So, Sandra, you are a part of the Dallas Psychic Fair with Cheryl Andre, and you guys are doing a virtual psychic fair online.
Yes.
So, y'all's next fair is May, is it 7th?
I think it's May 3rd.
May 3rd?
Yes, my birthday actually is May 1st. And I'm thinking about doing kind of a special thing on May 2nd, last month, for the animal community. I have an animal communication gallery where people can bring their live animals to see me, and we all talk to the animals together. I always say, we're doing this together. This is not me talking to the animals, it's all of us. And, this is your safe place to practice your intuitive skills. And so on the day before the fair, I'm thinking about letting people sign up for half-price animal communication sessions. So on the 2nd, and then on May 3rd, I'll send out some notices about that. I did that last month. I want to do it again. I just want to be in service in this time. I really do, as much as I can. And then last month, we worked with Zoom for the Dallas Psychic Fair. And it was really fun, and you all made this Zoom thing so easy. That one was like, so I'm trying to stay in my intuitive self and have my logical brain work at the same time. When you're working Zoom, it's a different process. Is that not right, Deborah?
Yeah, totally. It is a totally different kind of feel.
I have to rein everybody's energy in, and I tie it up in a nice big bow, and I put it over in a corner. Otherwise, all the computers blow up.
Yeah. I know. I can't wear watches. I can't either.
So, well, Sandra, tell people how they can get a hold of you in the meantime.
Very easily. They can go to sandralarson.com, and it's SANDRALARSON.
That is easy.
And just click the Book Now session. It'll guide you how to book a session. And know that some people say to me, Sandra, do you like people, or do you like animals more than people, or people more than animals? And I go, I just love them all. I'm just honored to be able to work with people. And I do have coaching packages, mentoring packages that offer my services at half price, so that if people want to work with me on a more regular basis, some people work with me weekly, some every other week. It's just an honor. I always feel that I'm honored when someone calls me to work with their animals or to work with their own selves. And I just want to remind you, if you're home and you're not working, just remember, when I turned 50, I started a whole new career. I used to be a real estate agent
Huh?
and work in that world, and I love doing real estate. And I've tried to do it a couple times, but my path is doing the work I'm doing now, and it's not being a real estate agent. So if you are feeling that you are being called, and this little interruption in staying home is giving you some direction, whatever that is, follow your heart, and you will create the life that you want to create, and the one your soul wants you to create, and you'll make money doing it. You will.
Right.
You are correct.
Elizabeth, the workman is worth the hire, right?
That's right.
Well,
Yep, ladies, yep.
I could talk to you hours about animals. I've had a lot of interesting experiences, but my whole attitude about animals has not changed, but it has exploded in the past 10 years about my ideas and stuff. And, and I encourage people to rescue animals. Don't feed the breeders. Don't feed the breeders. And, because actually the mutts make the better animals. They do.
Yes, they do.
It's like they get the best of all the genealogy thing going on. So, all right, thank you so much. And can you come back and visit with us again?
Oh, please invite me back. I had so much fun. I love you all, ladies. I do. It was so much fun, and what an honor to be here. And I guess I'm a transplant to Texas now.
That's right.
This way, but originally I said, don't you know? Yeah, well, sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
But now I could carry you home.
But don't mess with her because she's got Viking DNA in
Will
her.
you come back now, you hear?
Bye, John boy.
We love you, Sandra.
Thank you
I
so
love you
much,
all.
Sandra.
Sandra. Okay, be good. If you can't, be careful.
Yeah, I got 2 kids that way. Oh my gosh, that was fascinating. I could talk to her. I would love to talk to her about my Seamus. Oh, there we go. Boop, boop, because
It just takes a minute. Sometimes it doesn't want to let people go. It's like, no, don't let her go, no.
Sandra, she's such a sweetheart. And gosh, the stuff she shared with us today is just a snippet of what she has shared in her groups and her meetups. And wow, and she didn't get to talk about some of the other experiences with the tiger, but I'm hoping that she comes back and does that. That's an amazing story.
Well, she'll have to come back.
Yeah.
I had a friend that had a cat rescue before she passed, and those dead gum cats, I tell you what, I'd go up. She had the rescue at her house. She got grandfathered in with Dallas city laws and stuff. And those cats, they would all come out and follow me around everywhere. Those cats, I could not shake those cats.
And you know why?
Yeah, now I know why. I used to think it's because they were little demons and just wanted to aggravate me. So, but animals are fascinating. They really are. And I think that we can see so much of ourselves reflected in them, the good, the bad, and the ugly, But I tell you what, you want to see me get ugly? Let me see somebody not taking care of their animal or abusing it. You're going to get the ugly side of me real quick. I can't tolerate it. I just cannot. So, all right. Did y'all have a good weekend?
Yeah, it wasn't long enough.
Like why? like the days really matter?
Well, yeah, it really does. I mean, I was actually really, really busy on Saturday. I had a lot of phone calls, a lot of Zoom. I mean, I was busy this weekend. So, class on Saturday. Yeah. So I didn't do anything yesterday. I mean, literally, I didn't even answer the phone. It was just basically not doing anything because I've got to get away from electronics and just have, really need a couple of days off where I just, no phone, no Facebook, nothing, just to kind of.
Yeah, you were really ahead of the curve, no pun intended here, by having so many clients already on Zoom and things like that. Oh, I forgot to do our ad. Can you see it?
Now, that's good. Yeah, that looks good.
Cool. You know what? And I'm aggravated with all of you if you're watching. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel. I just need 47 people. It's not like it's costing you any money. Get real.
It is free.
It's
free.
free.
I mean, and you can leave after. We're just trying to get to 100.
Yeah, and the thing is that if you come on the show and we interview you, you're going to be on that channel, and that's just free advertising for you. And we're just trying to make it easier for people to find us by having a name instead of that code that looks like something out of the Matrix. You know,
And it's about that long.
it is. It's annoying as.
I mean, seriously, it is. But if we could shorten it down to what we're looking for, it's the same way with a Facebook page. Anything that's going to have more of a brand to it is better for people to find you.
Exactly.
And better for them to find us as well. But yeah, we're just.
But here's the good news.
We're not charging anything.
No.
And you're getting sometimes 30 minutes free, and that's what a great tool for advertising.
Yeah, it is. And here's the good news. If you go on YouTube right now and put in Spiritual Neighborhood, we're already there. You can find us. And we're like 5 out of 10 hits on the first page. So that's incredible branding that we've already done.
Is.
So I'm in an annoyed mood, so I'm not really feeling funny today. Isn't that funny?
Sad.
Isn't that funny?
Sad.
Well, I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, because you know I'll work it. I'll work it.
Yeah.
I'll work it. But she was a fascinating. You know what, though? Her voice is so hypnotic.
It is.
I could have gone into a higher level just listening to her talk.
Very sweet and soft.
So,
Very genuine. She's a very genuine individual.
She
I
is.
mean, I've seen her work as well.
yeah, not like
We had
us. Not like
We
us.
had an event at the bathhouse, and so it was wonderful because out there in the back of the bathhouse is this beautiful long patio type area, and there was this beautiful ramp that would come up, and she was there at the very end, and all of these people would bring their animals up there, and I was sitting real close to that exit, and I watched her work, and I watched her sit down on the ground and talk to these animals just like she was talking like children or old people or, you know, middle teenagers. Some of them were acting like teenagers. And it was fascinating to me that she had that skill because that was the first time I'd been introduced to an animal communicator. That was my first.
Well,
That was back in the 90s.
here's what I wanted to tell her. I've never talked to animals. I'm not, you know, so it's not my personal experience except one time. And my Australian Shepherd that I had to, we finally had to take him to the vet. It was time. He had an autoimmune disease when I rescued him. He just showed up in my yard, and Scott came in the house. He goes, I think there's a dead dog in the front yard. And I'm like, oh my God. And I ran out there and I took some water, and he leaned up a little bit and laid his head in the water bowl. And it was that winter when it was like 20 degrees.
Oh, geez.
And I turned my back for 5 minutes, and that deadgum dog got up and ran in the house.
Well, he knew.
But the vet said he was very ill, said he wouldn't last 6 months. I kept him alive over 3 years. I mean,
Wow.
doing all kinds of energy work, it's essential oils, colloidal silver. You know, the vet goes, I've never seen anything like this. This has been a friggin' miracle. But I was looking at him one night, and he had a lot of hot spots. We'd had to shave his coat off so I could get to the hot spots and treat him. And he just looked at me and he says, it's time, babe. And
Well, you know.
I'm looking around going, where did that come from? I mean, it was just as clear as a bell. Just clear as a bell.
Yeah.
You know.
I think as intuitives, we can feel and we know when it's that time. I can remember a few months before Tessie Poo passed away, she was perfectly healthy as far as I knew, and I was laying on the bed just loving her. She was about 4 pounds, little chihuahua, fawn, just an applehead chihuahua. And all of a sudden out of my mouth I went, I don't know what I'm going to do without you. And I'm like, where did that come from? You know, and then, you know, a few months later she was gone.
Oh, my God.
I had no reason to think she was going to die, but just out of my mouth, I don't know what I'm going to do without you.
But
A friend of mine had his little puppy dog pass this weekend as well. I mean, it was, and you know, the thing of it is he had called and he said, you know, oh, I'd like to get a reading. And I said, sure. And so we talked about it a little bit. And I thought, he's going to ask me about his puppy dog. I know what he's going to do. He's going to ask me about, I know he's going to do that. And I kept thinking, you know, I really don't want to tell him this. And fortunately for me, I did not have to. sad for him, but his little boy passed this weekend. I mean, I felt really, really bad, but oh my God, that's like telling somebody your child is going. And I don't like that at all.
No, I don't
like to do that.
I don't either. But you know what? I should have asked her. For the past month, I have felt this urge to find another shepherd, like Australian shepherd mix like that. And I don't know why I feel such an urgency to do that. And I'm looking, and I've joined like 10 rescue sites and stuff like that. And nothing's really resonated with me, but it's like this obsession almost. And I just wonder what that's all about. So I should have asked her. I may have to call her.
Well, if you're feeling
Probably time.
yeah, if you're feeling that energy, I think
Yeah.
it's just a matter of time when it shows up, and you'll know it.
Yeah, because they always find me.
It's actually calling you, so you've heard the call. It's the same thing as being called into service and not knowing what to do. You know you're being called. You just don't know what you're supposed to do. But if you'll allow them to find you, you'll get the message.
Yeah, all my dogs have found me in the past.
Yeah.
Well, all my dogs have. Literally, they all have. They've all found me. They've all been rescue dogs except one. All right, I think it's time to close.
Okay.
All right.
Well, maybe tomorrow it'll be puppet day.
Yeah.
Puppet
Well, that
day.
means I better get busy.
We're gonna try
Puppet
something.
day.
We're gonna try something tomorrow. We're actually gonna go live on Zoom and see if we can actually get into
Trouble? Get into
Yes.
trouble?
Yeah, that would be more realistic.
That won't
Yeah,
be-
we're gonna try live on Facebook tomorrow through Zoom. Actually, we're gonna try that and see what happens.
All right. Well, I'm all for it. So let me say to all of you, thank you for sharing your time and energy with us at the Spiritual Neighborhood Lunch Bunch. We are a community project of the Council of Families for Children. To contact any of the hosts, Elizabeth, Gail, or Deborah, that would be her, or me. Email us at spiritualneighborhood@gmail.com, and don't be shy to ask to be a guest on our show. It's free advertising until we eat again. Get it? Eat until we eat again.
Yeah, is that ever gonna happen? I looked that up the other day. The last time I actually went out to lunch with my friends was March 14th. That was my birthday.
Okay, I don't even think about it.
Last time.
I don't even think about it.
It's like, oh my God.
Well, I said until we eat again because we're the lunch bunch. So until we eat again, because it is lunch, right? Be safe and stay whole. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
Bye,
Bye, everybody. Have a good week.
All right, I'm turning this off.
Okay, bye.